I'd like to call Macomb City Council to order, please. If you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Justin Shu.
Here.
John Vajezi.
Here.
Byron Shabazz.
Here.
Dave Dorsett.
Present.
Ashley Katz.
Here.
Don Wynn.
Here.
Dennis Moo.
Here.
We have 7 present.
We have a quorum. Thank you. We have some guests that are here this evening to help us celebrate and issue a proclamation. If they could join me at the lectern, we'll be right there. Council, if you will, I'd like to issue the following proclamation, and I'll then turn it over to our guests to introduce themselves and how they're providing service for our community. It is a goal of our community to raise awareness and educate the public about homelessness and encourage support for our localist homeless assistance service providers. And whereas homelessness or houselessness is the condition of lacking stable, safe, and functional housing, homelessness has many causes, such as lack of affordable housing, poverty, unstable mental health, substance abuse, domestic violence, and discrimination. And whereas with over 500,000 homeless Americans, including 30,000 youth, the United States has the highest number of homeless people among industrialized countries. And whereas the number of beds that are available temporarily, including those in emergency shelters and transitional housing, has fallen by 9% over the last 5 years, and whereas homelessness touches communities of all sizes across every region, rural homelessness, also known as a hidden homelessness, is on the rise in Illinois. There are generally 8 homeless people per 10,000 people in the general population. This holds true for the Macomb community. And whereas homelessness is a humanitarian crisis that threatens the health, safety, security, and well-being of our community, there are many organizations in our community committed to sheltering and providing supportive services to the homeless, such as the Samaritan Well, Genesis Garden, the Center for Youth and Family Solutions, and the Macomb Police Department. And whereas anyone could be at risk of homelessness. Now, therefore, I, Michael J. Inman, Mayor of the City of Macomb, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the month of November as Homelessness Awareness Month. And I encourage all citizens to educate themselves on homelessness, as well as support our local homeless assistance service providers. And I'm grateful to have several of them here, and I'll let them introduce themselves, and we'll be happy to take a photograph if that would work for you all. Sally, would you want to go first?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm Sally Vajezi, and I'm the Social Services Coordinator at the Macomb Police Department, and I'm lucky enough I get to work with all these wonderful people to help our homeless population.
My name is Kyle Lapp. I'm a recent social work graduate from WIU. I've only recently gotten involved with homeless work in the area, and I've got to say that I'm very proud to be able to continue to do that work in Macomb after receiving my degree.
Geneva Hicks, Genesis Garden, community outreach. I just recently, as Kyle got involved, I am also, I've also experienced homelessness, so that's why I'm involved.
Melissa Calhoun with Genesis Garden. Thank you all for making this proclamation and approving it. One of the things that I love about this group of people up here, I think they said 8 people per 10,000. That probably means we've got 1624 here in our community. I think that among us, we could list them by name, and we know some things about them. I'd encourage any of you that would like to get to know somebody to come and check with us. We'd be happy to include you in a better understanding of what it's like to be homeless, what the causes are, and also what the solutions are, which are essentially a selection of the things here: higher levels of employment, lower cost for housing, or at least balancing those two out, better treatment for substance use disorder, and better treatment for all of the other things that go along with that, mental health, mental illness. So thank you again.
Thank you, Council. If you join me in a round of applause for these folks doing good work.
This is Geneva's son. He helped us with summer meals and stuff.
Very good. So, Mr. Coker, where do you want us to stand? All right, please. Thank you. All right.
Everybody ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Citizens wishing to address the City Council on matters germane to the agenda of tonight's meeting are limited to 3 minutes and are asked to be brief and concise in making their remarks. Comments submitted by mail or email will not be read aloud, but a copy will be provided to each member of the council and made a part of the minutes of this meeting. Does anyone wish to speak to the council on the public comment section of our agenda tonight? Alrighty, hearing none, we'll move on. Consent agenda of the council. There's a consent agenda and a motion is in order.
Motion to adopt is presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Under unfinished business, item number 1, consideration of an ordinance approving a lease agreement with Yetter Manufacturing Company. This ordinance had first reading on October 21st. This will be second reading.
Thank you. The city is the owner of certain real estate located within the industrial park, first addition to the city of Macomb. Yetter Manufacturing Company has requested to lease those premises. Leasing the premises would provide revenue to the city while ensuring lawful and appropriate use of the property. If adopted, the ordinance provides that council would find that it is in the best interest of the city to execute the lease agreement and authorize the mayor to execute that agreement, which is attached to the ordinance.
Very good. That'll stand as second reading. Motion's in order.
Motion to approve lease agreement with the Yetter Manufacturing Company.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 2, consideration of an ordinance approving a sublease agreement with the Macomb Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. This too had first reading on October 21st. There is some amended language here, so do you want to go ahead with the second reading, please, Madam Attorney?
Yes. The city is the lessee of the Thomas C. Carper Amtrak Station, which houses a depot located in Macomb, Illinois. The Macomb Area Convention and Visitors Bureau currently subleases a portion of that premises and has requested to extend the agreement to include additional areas that are not currently used as public use as a train depot. If adopted, the ordinance provides that council would find that it is in the best interest of the city to execute the sublease agreement and authorize the mayor to execute that agreement, which is attached as Exhibit A. And as the mayor mentioned, we did amend Section 1, Paragraph A of that sublease agreement. A copy was provided in your packet, and that was to clarify the portions of the premises that were subject of the lease as pointed out and requested by Alderman Dorset.
That's on page 6 of your packet this evening. We'd entertain a motion to approve that agreement.
Motion to adopt the ordinance approving the sublease agreement with the MACVB. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt. Any discussion? Alderman Dorset.
Has the MACVB been made aware of the changes in the lease?
I do not believe that I provided that to Attorney Bauer. I will do so. I don't foresee any issues, but certainly if there are any, I will certainly advise council.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. There is no other unfinished business this evening. Under new business, item number 1, Consideration to adopt a resolution in support of the commitment of funds for use in conjunction with the Community Development Block Grant Project for water main improvements and replacement. The copy of the resolution is in your packet. I'd ask the city attorney to read that in the record, please.
Thank you. The City of Macomb will be applying to the State of Illinois for a Community Development Block Grant. I said that twice, apologize. The cost of that project do require financial participation by the grantee. The resolution provides that the mayor and city clerk would be authorized to execute the documents necessary for carrying out the application, and that the city would commit $299,515 from its water fund to be used in conjunction with that grant for a total project cost of just under $1.8 million.
Thank you. Would entertain a motion to adopt that resolution.
Make a motion adopting the resolution to support the commitment of funds and use in conjunction with the Community Development Block Grant Project for the water main.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution. Any discussion? Would note for the record that just prior to the start of the meeting this evening, we had a public hearing a representative from the Regional Council who's in charge, acting as our agent for that grant application, and an update on that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 2, consideration of an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Municipal Code, updating the administrative adjudication system. This ordinance is ready for first reading.
Thank you. The Illinois Municipal Code was amended to expand the ability to administratively adjudicate municipal code violations for non-home rule communities. The city previously determined that a system of administrative adjudication would allow the city to better obtain compliance as well as penalties through a code hearing department. If adopted, the ordinance does authorize the amendments to Chapter 2 that are set forth in Exhibit A. I would tell you primarily that is to make reference to Section 2.1 in the Illinois Municipal Code, which previously was only available for home rule communities. That's now available for non-home rule communities. The other modifications are primarily administrative and consistent with a draft ordinance that was prepared by the Illinois Municipal League that I've reviewed and compared with our existing ordinance, and I think allows us to better administer our municipal code violations.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. We'll place that on for discussion at next week's Committee of the Whole meeting. Item number 3, consideration to approve scheduled meetings for the Macomb City Council and the Committee of the Whole for calendar year 2025. You'll note in your packet that the clerk has provided us with a list of those exact dates for those meetings, both for the council and the Committee of the Whole. She's also included a list of the holidays that will be observed during the 2025 calendar year. We'd entertain a motion to adopt those.
Make a motion to approve scheduled meetings for Macomb City Council and Committee of the Whole for calendar year 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Katz. Aye. Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 4, consideration to approve a CDAP revolving loan application from Chandil Hospitality LLC in the amount of $25,000 for a term of 5 years at 3% interest. There's a memorandum in your packet from the Community Development Director. This had some discussion and a recommendation out of the Community Development Committee back on October 23rd. Ms. Lambert.
Yes, so the Chandel Hospitality LLC is requesting a loan for the amount of $25,000 with a 5-year term with 3% interest rate. And what they're looking to build is a restaurant. They're going to be purchasing the Rockies over on west side of Jackson and be turning that into a sports bar and a Tex-Mex sports bar and grill. So that with that $25,000, they're looking to do quite a bit of renovation on the inside so that what's in the interior matches what they're looking to provide in their overall experience at the restaurant.
Thank you. Ms. Pierce had a hand in this, I think, at the onset of this process. Kim, do you want to come up and describe?
Actually, I think we just wanted the council to know that it was a group effort. I was actually contacted from a broker in Galesburg that is working with Shandell Hospitality on another couple projects there. And they were wanting to do, as Miranda's already mentioned, they want to purchase Rockies. Maintain the name, by the way. They were enamored with the Rocky name, so they're going to do that. But they were looking to do some kind of business loan with it, as well as a couple other projects. So we talked, the mayor, Miranda, myself. Consortium really didn't be needed this time for the Rocky site, even though they do have a considerable amount of investment in their improvements. The money that they would be able to secure from the city of Macomb would be enough for them to do what they want to do. So MADCO took a back position on that, and we'll be working with the city, hopefully down the road, on some other projects that might come to fruition shortly, so, or maybe in the next year. So that's probably gives you what context you probably needed just to kind of figure out how they got here. So any questions for me?
Alderman Vajezzi.
Not a question, just a comment. I do appreciate that within the memo that was sent out that there's a potential of creating 18 full jobs within Macomb. So
Correct,
the
for
job
Rockies.
creation is a great entity.
FTEs.
FTE.
Any other questions for Ms. Pierce or Ms. Lambert? Thank you both. We'd entertain a motion to approve the loan and the terms and the amount as indicated.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? This was a recommendation to approve this from the Community Development Committee. Is that correct? Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Madam Chairman, thank you. Alrighty, hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And thank you both for working on that. Item number 5, consideration of an ordinance to create 2 additional handicapped accessible parking spaces in the 100 block of East Carroll Street. This will be first reading.
Thank you. The Illinois Vehicle Code does allow the city to control the use of its streets. Upon recommendation from the Community Development Committee, city staff, council would indicate its desire to amend section 15-216 to add additional parking spaces for persons with disabilities along East Carroll Street between North Lafayette Street and North Randolph Street. If adopted, the ordinance provides that section 15-216 would be amended as set forth in the Exhibit A.
Right, that'll stand as first reading, and if you'll notice, the next item on the agenda is consideration to waive the second reading of that ordinance. Ms. Scalf, is there anything you'd like to add regarding that?
I believe we talked about it last week. There is some urgency to get this implemented to assist a business along East Carroll Street with some contracts for services that are given to veterans and service members.
Okay.
I guess I should also add, I apologize, I'm going to interrupt you.
Okay.
I did also, as requested by, I think, Alderman Dorset, reach out to the really 2 property owners on that side of the street, or on that block, I should say. I did speak with the owner of Sports Corner and Park Place, and ironed out a small, and I don't even want to say objection. He was absolutely supportive. There was one small concern concerning removing parking that would be available to everyone. We're able to iron that out with some clarification on what was happening with the potential parking lot on the corner of Lafayette and Carroll. And I emailed, because I didn't have time to get letters sent out, the owner and property manager for the other property, and I did not receive any response.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you. We'd entertain a motion to waive second reading.
Motion to waive second reading.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Moon,
No.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
6-1.
Motion carried, thank you. And item number 7, consideration to approve an ordinance to create 2 additional handicapped accessible parking spaces in the 100 block of East Carroll Street. Entertain a motion to approve that.
Motion to create 2 additional handicap accessible parking spots at the 100 block of East Carroll Street.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item number 8, consideration to approve an amendment to the agreement between the City of Macomb and John Bannon regarding grant assistance. There's a memorandum in your packet from the Community Development Director. Ms. Lambert, could you go over that for us, please?
Yes, so we are currently utilizing John Bannon still in the capacity of assisting us with our Thriving Communities grant. So that was a grant he applied for back at the beginning of the year that we were awarded. In part, and those hours that he puts through for Thriving Communities can be reimbursed through that. And so we're looking to extend his agreement from November 9th of this year to June 30th of next year. And then there could still be a few things within the Office of Community Development, such as our TIF audit that's coming up, where we look for that assistance. So far to date, we've used less than $1,500 in terms of our contract with him.
Any questions for Ms. Lambert? Alderman Shu.
Do we anticipate, I mean, you mentioned how much we've used so far, a similar amount for the duration of this, or do you think that will go up or down?
So for Thriving Communities, we budgeted $5,000 for his time to be spent on the grant. He will be spearheading one of our projects, which we're bringing forward here tonight with the transportation vision, just because he's been doing a lot of that legwork with Rachel Lenz from the Park District. So that could go up, but again, those hours, well, yes, the charge will go to the city will be reimbursed from Thriving Communities.
And Alderman Moon.
Well, that kind of answered the question, but I don't quite understand why it costs us so much to apply and to seek these grants out. It seems a little absurd.
I don't think we would disagree with that. Sometimes the cost-benefit ratio makes you scratch your head a little bit, but by and large, we're the benefactor.
Yes,
Who's dictating it? Or is anyone dictating it, or what's?
Each all coming from the different entities that are providing the grant funds, they decide those parameters for us.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Alderman Shute.
How does John's work with this coincide with the grant writer that we've hired that's on the team, the city team?
So Jessica is currently working with us through a number of our grant projects. So again, one of them that we have here is that we have through this Thriving Communities is the Grant Scribe Roadmap. So she's been spearheading that and been working with all departments to kind of see what is our plan for grants moving forward. And then I'm looking forward to have her sitting in with us with those meetings as they're appropriate. And I don't know if Scott wants to add anything additional to that.
I guess I would just say that what John's working on is stuff that he started when he still worked here, so a lot of work's already been done. So by having him involved, we'll continue that knowledge base and help us get this part of it done, so.
And just more of a comment, because I think that our community development team should be larger. I'm struggling because I think at some point, some of these are helping skirt actually looking at the size of that team. I'm not really in love with, I think John does great work. He's wonderful. He also took another position somewhere else. And at some point, as an organization, we need to figure that out. So I'm not in love with this particular agreement.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Dorsett.
So for clarification then, we will be having John Bannon continuing on this contract. We will have a full-time grant writer on staff, and we will still have the contract with Grant Scribe. Is that all correct?
That's correct.
And again, the John Bannon and Grant Scribe is being covered through Thriving Communities.
This is not grant, he's not doing grant writing. This is already the grant we've received, so we're finishing up the grant we've already received with the Thriving Communities. He's providing technical assistance. Yes. Correct.
Yep, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? We'd entertain a motion to approve the amendment to the agreement between the city and Mr. Bannon regarding grant assistance. And going once. And going twice. Does this impact our Thriving Communities project at all?
So the impact that would have if we decide not to move forward with John Bannon's agreement is looking to just looking to see how we move forward in terms of the knowledge he had with the bike path plan. So that would just kind of lean more heavily on myself and Alice for the transportation vision.
Okay, very good. All righty. I hear no motion here, to be clear. That will die from a lack of motion. Thank you. Item number 9, consideration to authorize the Finance and Human Resources Department to solicit a request for proposals for the city's annual auditing services. There's a memorandum in your packet from the Business Office Finance Director, Ms. Worley. Scott, could you go over that for us, please?
Sure. I think all this is asking for is permission to go out and seek a new auditor, seek proposals for potentially a new auditor. We've been with the same auditing firm for several years, and it's recommended that on a 3 to 5 year cycle that we get a new auditor to get a fresh perspective and potentially see things that haven't been caught in the past. So we would plan to have this in place for our next audit cycle, which would be our next fiscal year.
Very good. Any questions for Scott? Hearing none, we entertain a motion to approve soliciting proposals for city's annual audit services.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 10, consideration of an ordinance to create a special use permit for Tillett Collision Center Incorporated at 2800 East Jackson Street to allow an automotive repair in a B2 zoning district. This will be first reading.
Thank you. I guess I would note on the outset, the ordinance suggests Tillett Collision Center as well as John and Elizabeth Heil. That sale has closed, so I will modify that to indicate that just Tillett Collision Center Incorporated as the applicant. And they have requested a special use permit authorizing automotive repair at 2800 East Jackson Street here in Macomb. That property is located within the city limits. Upon receipt of the application, it was referred to Planning Commission for a public hearing. Notices were sent and provided as required by our municipal code. Public hearing was held on October 23rd, 2024. Planning Commission did vote 7-0 to grant this special use permit and has recommended that council approve that special use permit. If adopted, the ordinance would grant a special use permit authorizing automotive repair at 2800 East Jackson Street here in Macomb. And there was a previously issued special use permit that would be revoked with the issuance of this new special use permit.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. We'll place that on for discussion at next week's Committee of the Whole meeting. Item number 11, consideration to approve a contract for consulting services with Merrick Marketing in the amount of $11,250. There's a memorandum in your packet from Ms. Lambert, and could you come up, go over that for us, please?
Yes. So this is going to be the second leg of our 3-leg project with the Thriving Communities program. So looking through this is to make a bicycle safety campaign for the public. So we would be partnering with our local groups, our park district, our police department, as well as hopefully the school district, to be able to make a year-long bike safety campaign that we are able to ideally look to use year and year again. So they'll be able to come up with content for us, do some work on figuring out who the target audience would be, so then we can just put a focus on that as we hope to move forward with our bike path plans.
Thank you. Would you entertain a motion to approve that contract? Bless you.
Make a motion to approve a contract for consulting services of Merrick Marketing for an amount of $11,250.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the contract. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dorset.
No.
Katz.
Aye.
Oh, I lost my pencil. Sorry.
That's okay.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
No.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 12, consideration to approve an engineering proposal from Benton and Associates Incorporated for the Macomb Active Transportation Vision Report. There's a proposal in your packet, and then along with a memorandum from the Community Development Director. Ms. Lambert, please.
Yes, so this will be our final leg through that grant. So this is going to assist us with making a transportation vision. So this way we'll be able to currently analyze our bike paths and see what are the ways best to move forward while getting community feedback on that. So we'll put together a team to analyze that, look at some of our past reports, and see what we need to do to lay a path moving forward. One of the benefits to this is that this will help us be more competitive for grants moving forward, because typically when you get the infrastructure grants, they want to see those planning grants beforehand.
Very good. Any questions for Ms. Lambert? Alderman Moon.
Haven't we done this before? It seems like we've done this when we've considered this stuff before. I don't.
I think that might have been
We've
for the
done some
application,
repetitive,
to apply for the application. So again, Thriving Communities, prior to that, John would have brought forward the application to apply for. And again, that was to do I'm forgetting the verbiage on it, but basically to extend our ride path. But again, a few changes with that grant did not allow us to move forward with actually the equipment. So this is where we had to shift gears and find something that would fall within the lines of this grant.
What did that cost us to do?
That did not cost us anything, because this was fully covered.
Someone messed up there, didn't they?
And this would not cost any, this is all
This is
reimbursed.
all covered through the grant, needs to be executed by end of May next year.
And Alderman, just maybe anticipating what, yes, so I remember when I was on the council and Alderman Dorsett and I were sitting next to each other, that's been nearly 15 years ago. There was a study done then, but that, for the most part, I think is dated at best. So, any other discussion this evening? Alderman Shue?
I would just add, I think we need it. This is, and bike passes, especially when running and talking to people, has been something that comes up frequently. So I'm hopeful to see some movement on it.
We're very optimistic, and we appreciate the partnerships we have within our community, especially with the Park District, to be able to find the best way to move forward on this.
Very good. We'd ask for a motion to approve the engineering proposal with Benton and Associates for the Macomb Active Transportation Vision Report.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Katz? Aye. Wynn?
Aye.
Moon?
No.
Shu?
Aye.
Vajezi?
Aye.
Shabazz?
Aye.
Dorset?
Motion carried. Thank you. There is no other new business to come before you this evening. Entertaining committee reports. Alderman Vajezi.
On just a quick note, we had an Equal Opportunity Fair Housing Commission meeting back on the 22nd of October. Belinda Carr was named as chair with the passing of Sterling Edwards. There were 3 cases that were closed that have been done in the last quarter.
Very good. Thank you. Any other committee reports? Already hearing none. Aldermanic reports. Alderman Moon.
I was going to mention this last week, and I decided not to, but if you guys can't hear me, tell me, because I have a hard time hearing that into the dais. So we all need to speak up, I believe.
Very good. Thank you. Alderman Nguyen.
No report.
Thank you. Alderman Katz.
No report.
Thank you. Alderman Dorsett.
Got a few things to do tomorrow, folks. Voting takes place from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the state of Illinois. If you haven't done so, please do so tomorrow.
Anything else, sir? Yeah, you said a list. Okay. All righty. Thank you. Alderman Shabazz.
No report.
Thank you, Alderman Vajezi.
3 shout-outs. First to the Bomber volleyball team. They finished their season, but had a very impressive 30-4 record. The Bomber football team also finished their season, finishing 7-3. And congratulations to David Simmons, an IHSA 2A class cross-country school record of 16 minutes and 33 seconds for his running. I'm winded just talking about how fast he ran. Excellent job, and thank you to everybody.
All righty. Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. Alderman Shue.
I want to thank all those involved with the Fallen Soldiers 5K that happened this past Saturday. It runs through part of the First Ward, and thank all those who were involved with it and ran and walked and helped support.
Very good. Thank you. Madam Clerk, anything?
Nothing to add, Art.
Okay, Ms. Scalf? Mr. Coker? All righty. I would like to call an executive session to consider information relative to the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, or performance of, or dismissal of an employee of the public body or legal counsel for the public body pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Quinn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezzi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. For the media, there'll be nothing coming out of tonight's executive session. We'll hang around for just a couple of minutes if you have questions.
Okay, here's your pen. I'll borrow that